Hey everyone, it's Brian, and welcome back to the More For Me and You podcast. Today marks episode 10, and we have a very special guest joining us in the studio. But before we get into that, make sure you go hit that subscribe button, give us a follow, like the episode, and if you can, drop us a comment so we know you're there. We'd love to hear from you. As for today, we welcome in actor, gamer, and comedian JD Witherspoon. And this dude is hilarious. He has a lot to say, and he has an incredible story to tell of how he became the gamer, actor, and comedian that he is today. And later in the episode, we discuss a film that he chose that's playing for free on the free streaming service Momi2, an action film called Action. I never would have picked this film. Honestly, looking at the poster, it was not for me. But I am so happy JD picked it, and we have a lot of fun talking about this movie. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this almost 2-hour episode. And we'll see you in the pod.
Yeah, that's right. You're tuning in to the More For Me and You podcast. That's real interviews, real movie reviews, real people, real journeys. If you real, lock in. I've been working all night, early in the morning. If you hustle high, hustle, you can never waste a moment. That's more for me and you. 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 Let's go.
For those that do not know who you are, would you like to introduce yourself and
Sure.
show them who you are, what do you do, and where you from?
Yeah, I'm from a good old hell on earth, capital of the world, Los Angeles, baby. Fired City Central. No, I'm from LA. I'm from LA. I'm a comedian and actor and stand-up and voice actor and gamer and podcaster and YouTuber and Twitch streamer, and I do all those other silly things. You know, it's one of those things where I a lot of the stuff that I do, I fell into. If I was who I was always meant to be, I would still be an artist. I used to do art.
Oh, very cool.
And then I got into entertainment and was like, who needs a draw? So
It's still art.
yeah, it's
Different form.
It's still an art form, but I used to be very into art, the basic art, drawing, painting, all those things. But yeah, I don't know. I'm an entertainer of sorts, a jack of all trades, and I just I enjoy performing, and I enjoy being myself, and I also play sports, I guess. I'm an adult who can still hoop and play tennis. I play tennis.
Pickleball?
No, I don't like pickleball.
Not getting into the dinkers.
I don't like pickleball because it's lazy tennis. Just learn how to play tennis is how I see it.
Easy on the knees.
Yeah, easier on the knees, less movement, and it doesn't matter at this point because the barrier to entry is so much wider because you don't have to learn how to get the ball over the net with tennis because that's the thing. It's like if you don't know how to hit the ball over, you can't even play. So I like the pickleball is actually opening it up, but I know that tennis in general, like the tennis as a business, is getting upset because now a lot of people are moving to pickleball. I think Djokovic talked about it. He was like, "These kids, they're leaving tennis for pickleball," because he said pickleball. He said tennis is
I didn't know Djokovic was Russian.
That's
nice.
how he sounds to me. Listen, if you're white and not from America, I assume that's just how you talk. Don't take that out of context. I don't want to. Don't be canceled, please. Thank you.
I'm offended.
Well, sorry. I've been offended for 400 years, and we're gonna deal with it. But no,
You look great for 400 years, by the way.
Listen, man,
phenomenal.
It's the
Great skin.
ancestry oils. But no, I just saw that he was complaining on like the tennis channel because tennis is kind of like a zhuzhi, like like kind of like golf, but golf's kind of
My dad played tennis, so I kind of grew up with it.
Yeah, my dad just forced me and my brother to learn it. He was just like, "Y'all are gonna learn tennis," and I was like, "What? I don't want to play this." And then I think my brother's probably more open-minded, but I'm better at tennis. My brother, he played on his school's golf team, so I don't know if he's better than me now because I've been playing. But I don't know. And then we're both basketball players, and he swears he's better than me. And I'm like, bro, but I'm bigger than you. I'll just bully you.
Just body you.
And he's like, nah. It's so funny. I don't know why. My younger brother, who's 8 years my junior, he talks like an old New York gangster. That's just how he's like, nah, son, I got this. I'm really good at this thing. I'm like, who are you? You're from Sherman Oaks. What is his voice?
You're from the valley.
But yeah, so that's me. That's a part of my family you've learned about just now, and also my tennis aspirations, I guess.
Yeah. So you golf though?
Yes, I do golf. I got into golf over the pandemic, like most people, because I had a group of friends who started a golfing, like a group. Like it's a lot of them. It's like
a club.
It's a club, and it's over like 70 to 80, if not 100 people, and we play once a month and do a tournament every month and pay tournament fees and have custom gear, and it's called the Golf Gaming Club. And I was invited, and it's like a lot of people who work behind the scenes in gaming, but also there's like some people who are, I guess, outwardly like famous gamers, like my buddy Nadeshot, who used to be, he's the owner or co-owner of 100 Thieves and all this stuff. So I don't know. I've just made a lot of random friendships and relationships, and people will call me and be like, "Bro, do you want to come to this like golf tournament?" And I'm like, "I don't golf," and they're like, "We'll teach you."
It's fun, especially when you're playing a tournament. You play, or when it's a scramble.
Scramble, yeah. That's
because you don't have to be the best. You can just make a couple putts.
That's what we do.
A couple drinks and enjoy yourself. And
yes.
Yes. So you've been playing for about roughly 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Got clubs.
Got a handicap? Did you get that established?
My handicap's not great. I feel
okay.
I feel like
that's what it's there for.
If I played more, I definitely would be under 20. But I'm like, I got to be like a 23 or 22 or something. But I've had some really good hits, and
that's what keeps you coming back.
Yeah.
You play terrible. You shoot 6s, 7s on holes, and then all of a sudden you put it together and you shoot a birdie. You make a putt. You get out of the sand, whatever it is, and you're like, man, I'm coming back.
That
golf is great.
It's also one of those things where it's like, if I put time into it, I'd be like, oh, I probably would destroy all my friends because I'm the more athletic of all of them. They just all been playing longer.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I don't know. It's cocky, I guess.
Yeah, but scrambles are a team sport. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's interactive. But then when you do get to play solo, like, I mean, I'm just kind of an average golfer myself. I'm like 11, 12, whatever. But I've been playing a little longer. But when I go play in tournaments, I'm playing against people that are my same level.
Right.
I'm not playing against the fours, the scratch golfers.
Yeah.
I'm playing against guys that are just around my speed, around, my kind of level. They're missing shots or missing putts and still having a good time. But
yeah,
it's nice when you compete against people that are kind of in your same realm.
That's what it's supposed to be. In the beginning, that's what I think that club was, and then eventually I think they started to get lost in more of the golfing than us being from like the backgrounds of gaming aspect. And now it's one of those things where they kind of segment tournaments where it's like they'll have like the open part of it where it's for everyone who's kind of just at whatever level, and then they like segment it off for people who can play really well. And then those smaller groups of teams will compete against each other, so that everybody can chill. Because like some people just come to drink and hit, and
some people take it way too seriously. And
that's
some people just want to enjoy themselves.
That's a thing.
There's certain people I do not want to play with. Like, I'm just like, nope, don't pair me with them.
I don't mind if I get paired with someone serious. I get more upset if I'm playing and it's like the point of us all being out here is more networking, but then like at the end it's like, so what did you shoot? What was it? Did you didn't take? And I'm like,
you can let the competitive juices.
I'm
flow
like,
over
bro,
every little bit, every now and then. It's
I'm
okay.
like, I lost. It's okay.
Yeah.
I know I lost. I lost the moment I got here.
But did you have fun?
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So it sounds like you had a really fun childhood. Can we jump into that a little bit? Like,
Sure.
I have a little bit of a similarity with you, as I grew up on film sets, and I grew up so I'd love to kind of hear a little about your experience and growing up on as a child on sets.
Yes,
for those that don't know about that or that about you. So
no, definitely, I definitely grew up on films. My dad was a entertainer. My mom was also an entertainer as well. That's how they met each other. They met on the set of a movie, and I know my dad, his name was John Witherspoon. If you don't know his work, I'll bring it up. The old man in Friday who plays the dad of Ice Cube, or the dad of Sean and Marlon Wayans on the Wayans Brothers, or the grandfather voice on the Boondocks that was on Adult Swim. He's been in a bunch of other films with like Eddie Murphy, like Boomerang, and he's worked with a bunch of people that I've randomly met. He's on an episode of Will Smith, Martin, all these other things. He did a lot of work, and I am a product of his endeavors. It's one of those things when people ask, you're from LA, and it's like, oh, I'm like, I tell people, I'm like, oh, I'm a product of this industry. Yeah. I'm like, I'm in LA because my parents wanted to be entertainers. And yeah, so no, I do remember as a young kid kind of growing up on sets here and there. I used to, when I was a young kid, I used to model and act up until the point of me not being a professional, because I definitely didn't want to do it myself. I would rather be playing video games or playing with toys. But I do remember I got fired from a Joe Boxer campaign modeling shoot, the underwear, or I think they made more than underwear, but I remember it was I was like 6, if not 5, and it was like I needed to be like just a little kid, but I was with other little kids, and one of them was a girl, and they were like, "Well, can you hold her hand and like look out, and we're gonna take this photo?" And I was like, "No, she's a girl. She has cooties. I'm not." And I think my parents, I remember them bringing that up a lot. They were like, "You ruined that job," and I was like, "Hey, man, you knew I wasn't professional. It's on you." But other than that, I remember I did like a medicine commercial with my mom, because it was one of those probably like mother and son type of commercials. And I think from that I was able to get like my SAG dues at a young age and go into SAG, which was like 10 years later, if not 12, when I was like 17, 18, 19, when I wanted to actually start acting again as an adult. But yeah, no, I remember growing up on sets, meeting random people, particularly the Wayans brothers. I feel like I remember that a lot, because I just actually was hanging out with Marlon Wayans. He was performing not too far from here in LA, and I think me and him were just chatting about like when he first met me, and he was like, "Dude, I don't know. I was 24. It was a long time ago, but he was like, I remember you and your cousins would always be there on the set, but his whole family would be there too. There, there's like millions of them. So
There's a couple Wayans.
There's too many. I've told him. I'm like, you guys got too many Wayans, bro. Y'all got to stop.
There was just a video that I saw on probably YouTube or whatever, but it was John Lovitz, and he was with someone. The person was like, "You're so old, John. No one knows who you are." And he's walking around like there's so many people like, "Yeah, that's John Lovitz, John Lovitz, John Lovitz." And then one of the, "Oh yeah, I'm the grandchild of the Wayans family, or a great grandchild." And I was like, "Wait, what?
Great grandchild."
Yeah, great grandchild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, shout out to John Lovitz. I like The Critic, right? Isn't that this animated show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it stinks.
Dude, that guy's so iconic.
Bruh, I used to love that cartoon. I used to be like, I don't know why this. I was like, this is cinema right here. But he also had that comedy club, I think, back in the day at the Universal City Walk. Right. Yeah. No, shout out to John Lovitz. I like. He's a very charactery person. Like just his personal, just I don't like it. Like I feel like that's how he sounds in my head. I don't know.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good, actually. No, but shout out to all the comedians that really paved the way for comedy what it is today. I mean, just like your father and John Lovitz and so many more. But I mean, just to get it to where it is and just have comedy. I mean, to the point of where people are so excited to see, like obviously Dave Chappelle get the Mark Twain Award, right? And to see that and how big that was. Like I don't know if that would have been as big if it wasn't for the people that pioneered stand-up comedy to what it is today.
Mm-hmm. I need to look into the Mark Twain thing. I know that it's a big honor. I don't know why it's Mark Twain. My brain doesn't. I would need to research.
Well, because it's all writing.
Is that well? Mark Twain. Yeah, he wrote books. His books were interesting.
A little bit of a writer.
I don't know. Was he a comedic writer?
No, or was he?
Yes.
Was he comedic? I didn't know that. Good to know. Thanks.
I don't remember.
Thanks,
I don't remember
producers coming in with the head shakes.
I don't remember laughing at Huckleberry Finn, but I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
No, I think my brain. All I think is Tom Sawyer. I think of Tom Sawyer. I think of Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, did this dude do comedy or something? But I listen. All I know is that Dave Chappelle, Jerry Seinfeld, Kevin Hart, all the guys, Chris
Adam
Rock,
Sandler just got
Adam
it.
Sandler, whoever got it. I know that they're happy. So if they're happy, that's all that matters.
Yeah, cheers to them.
I think it's just always weird when I hear Mark Twain. I'm like, Mark Twain. I don't know. I don't know enough about Mark Twain. I probably wasn't paying attention in class. I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most people are going to say like, okay, you got into what you're doing now because of your family, right? And that is true to an extent. But
yeah.
I don't know if people have asked you this before, and I want to take it a little bit of a different route. Is that people assume that I got into the industry too because of that as well. What was your why? Like your why? Because you were talked about wanting to be an artist. I don't know if you went to school for that or what type of art you wanted to do. Why did you choose to do what you're doing now?
It was all random. Also, just a side note, it should be the Lenny Bruce Award. I'd rather it be Lenny Bruce. That's just me. Like he seems like a pioneer of comedy. He went to jail for it. Let me not go.
I'm sure there was a foundation that put a bunch of money up to make that award happen. So usually how
I'm going to
happen.
petition for Lenny Bruce, but
to make a second award.
Yeah, I don't know. But why? Man, I think it's one of them things where, and I was just in college, and in college, my major was art because that's all I knew. I think at a young age.
Where'd you go, by the way?
I went to first college. I went to Morehouse in Atlanta. I was there for a year, but I didn't stay because they didn't have any art programs at the time. This is like 2006. They only had like if you wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor. That was like that, or that.
They have a good film program too.
Yeah, I think I think they definitely had a film program, but I wasn't into film at that point. I was, I wish I would have stayed because I know like Sam Jackson went there and what's his name? Do the Right Thing. I'm terrible. Why am I getting this off? Brooklyn. He's always at the New York games. Spike Lee. Yeah.
And it's weird
I'm
because
tripping right now. I don't know why I didn't know that. That's bad.
I'm a very first name and face person too.
Yeah.
So like when putting first and last names together, I'm terrible at that. As well.
It was cool. That was a cool school. I mean, it's a historical black college. It's all boys school. The girls' schools are right across the street. It was fun. It was interesting to be in Atlanta because I think I had only been in Atlanta once or twice, and I remember living there. I was like, oh, this is completely different. It was nice.
Well, yeah, I'm sure the experience was nice based on living in Southern California.
Yeah, it was just different.
Yeah.
But then I went back here to home, and I went to Cal State Northridge, and then I went to film school at Columbia College of Hollywood, which is like the offshoot of like Columbia, but for LA. But my original major or thing that mattered to me was art because I was just always as a kid drawing, painting, and I thought that that's what I was going to be. I thought I was going to be like a cartoonist or an animator. Yeah. I thought I was going to have like a Nickelodeon cartoon or something, or a Cartoon Network cartoon because I could draw. I could still draw. Like,
you can draw it and voice it yourself.
Yeah, I think as a kid, I didn't even think about voice acting. I thought I was just a dude who was doing silly voices. I would do that just for my own personal fun. I didn't really think I'd become a professional voice actor, which I
did the same thing actually. I started doing like Bobby from Bobby's World.
Yeah.
I can do a mean Smeagol.
There you go.
I'm not going to do it because it makes me look very evil, but I'd get really into character for it. But totally with that. Like I actually thought I was going to get into voice acting myself.
There you go.
Because it's just like that's fun. It's lively. It's
you
fun.
Can do
all these different voices and be a different character.
Mm-hmm. It's very niche though. It's like people think getting into acting's hard. Voice acting's even harder because there's like 80 people who can do 100,000 voices, so they don't need many more. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Howie though, Howie Mandel. I saw him recently. He's a funny guy. Me and him, we did a pilot together that didn't go, but ever since then, I've been in contact with him. He's a cool dude. And he has so much Bobby's World merch at his.
Oh, I'm sure.
He has like a compound out here in California, and it's his entire life, and AGT is so silly.
What a room to have in your house.
It's not even a room.
No, I'm just saying, like to have just a full room of just everything, all memorabilia of yourself would be.
He has incredible. A building. This building, he has a building.
A building.
He has a building, and he runs.
He has a world. He has a Bobby's
He has
world.
a world. And he bought a cul-de-sac around this area in California, and he has a building for all his stuff. He likes being He likes being first into. He likes to be like on the cutting edge of things that are going to happen. So he will see something online, and if someone needs an investment, he'll invest in it, and he'll tell them, hey, bring your idea to my compound. I'll let you produce it out of here, and then we'll go from there. He's very entrepreneurial. But yeah.
Sounds like a super nice guy, though, too.
Yeah, he's nice. He's nice. Just don't touch him. He's very germophobic. That's it. And I remember that's what my dad told me when I told him I was going and auditioning for Howie. He's like, "Oh, Howie, I know Howie." He's like, "Don't touch that, brother." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Boy don't like germs. He don't like germs. Don't touch his hands. Oh no, don't
must have really enjoyed.
Don't ask him for a handshake." But like, it's funny because Howie grew up watching my dad do stand up, so it's silly that he's like maybe 10 years or 15 years his junior, but was watching him like in the back of the Comedy Store when he was a kid. But yeah, no, I was, I think I was like, my entire life was art. I remember I was submitting I was like in AP art classes and submitting my art for college entry stuff. And then I think it was just like, I got into college, and at a certain point I was like, I really enjoy art and I like painting, I like drawing, but I have no idea how I'm turning this into, like, I'm like, is this supposed to be my job, or is this supposed to be a business? I never saw it as a business. It was just a fun outlet.
It's a hobby.
It was a hobby that I was good at. I was better than most at.
My brother was the same. My brother was very artistic, and but he got into graphic art. Like, didn't go to school for it. He literally just like learned on the fly.
Right.
But still does it to this day.
That's very cool.
You know, but it's very difficult to turn into an actual career when you're just freelancing, drawing. What is that? There's not many jobs out there that are like that, like for that. Yeah. Unless you get into animation, obviously, which is slowly kind of
Also, just turning your
way.
art into the job sucks every time you do it, no matter what. Like you got to circumvent it in a way where it's like you can still do it creatively, but once like the art becomes the job, you're gonna hate it. Well, most times you will. And I don't know, that I feel like that's just a part of life. You just start realizing like, oh, I should have like built a business. I shouldn't have tried to get famous off of this. Let me build a business and then do this on the side and have fun with it still. Because I feel like that's how I see it. But
I mean, Matt Rife had a piece of his stand-up. Obviously, crowd work is what he's known for. But he asked a guy, he was like, what do you do for a living? He's like, oh, I'm an artist. He's like, oh, so you're unemployed. And it's just like, oh, yeah, but you can make a lot of money doing it.
Yeah.
You know, certain ways.
You're unemployed except for those like 4 times in the year where you get a nice big check and you're like, all right, I guess I survived this past year.
you do a show, you sell a piece, and
yeah,
happy to go. So you do a lot of different things. You obviously wear a lot of hats. You're a comedian, stand-up, actor, voiceover. You do hosting.
Yeah, I like hosting. I want a late night show. Give me a late night show.
You got a great voice for it. So
thank you. I know late night people. I'd be like telling them, I'm like, bruh, just fund it. Let's. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, just throw $30 million at the wall. We'll make it work.
It's just 30 mil. No,
it's just 30 mil. You got that. I've seen your net worth. But no. I like hosting though. I think I didn't realize I liked hosting until I got a really big hosting job, and then I was like, oh, I just get to be myself on camera the whole time and chill. And like, I still want to do the things that are creatively challenging, like acting or dramatic acting or whatever. But hosting is just a night hosting. And now I also radio. Well, it's funny. Everybody in my life has always told me, you got a voice for radio. I'm like, you got a job? You got a job for radio? Because I still have no idea to get into it. My brain is thinking I would take it, but then also my brain is thinking like, you might hate it though. But I don't know. That's a job. If you can hate it, but if you're getting paid well, you'll just hate how much money you're making. Oh no. Oh, I'm so rich. Like that happens. I mean, also it's just one of those things where that happens with the most work. You can't help unless it's on your terms. Like the one thing on my terms is like stand-up comedy. So I don't hate that because I know what it goes in and out of that. Acting, I like acting, but it's one of those things where it's like, I can't control the circumstances of acting and all that.
It's still scripted for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun when you get a job, but it's also one of those things where it's like when you get a job and then the job is longer than like a small amount of time. Like I remember this show I did was from like 2018 to 2019 and we had to do 6 to 7. No, I think we did 5 to 6 episodes a week. And, after month 3, you're like, whew, this is not that fun. It's just a gig, but that's, it becomes a gig and then you can still, I have fun in the moment of like the 3, 2, 1, we're live or 3, 2, 1 action. Everything in between entertainment sucks. Auditioning sucks. Waiting in your trailer sucks. Being talked down to or disrespected on set sucks. HR never doing their job sucks. Producers having a big head and thinking they're the star of the show when they're behind the switchboard sucks. Directors, it's one of them things where it's like, I say that because I only say that because my dad and I had a conversation about it where I was working on this show. And when I'm working on the show, I was trying to tell him, I was like, hey man, what is it about everyone else being so odd on set? And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I'm the guy who's on camera. I'm getting all the quote unquote exposure, but I don't really care. I just want to share my art and just have fun. And I'm having a good time with the audience that we're cultivating. But I don't feel how everyone behind the camera feels when they see me. They look at me like I'm some sort of object and treat me like, oh, he thinks he's so. I'm like, bro, I genuinely am just trying to have fun and do my thing. And everyone they want kind of, I guess, what I have, which is like maybe more notoriety or I don't know, whatever it is, fame, exposure. Maybe in their brain they're thinking I make way more money than them. I'm like, I promise you I don't make more than the people who are putting this whole thing on. Or I
don't make more money than the producers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I promise you I don't make more than the dude who's sitting in the booth yelling in my ear.
But you get the potential fame from it. You get the potential brand awareness, right? You potentially get other gigs from it, right? Yeah. For them, they're behind the scenes. They have to kind of do whatever they're doing.
But also they chose that. Y'all could be entertainers. 100%. I'll be looking at that. Yeah. Every time I see someone who, especially in LA, who doesn't want to, well, I can understand if you have like maybe you're, I don't know, shy, insecure, this and the third, or stage fright. Yeah, sure, don't do it. But my thing is like, don't choose to be in entertainment when you want to be in front of the camera, but then be behind it on purpose and cry. Don't do that. That's annoying.
Yep.
Go fail forward like I did and get rejected every goddamn day.
Yep.
Go get comfortable getting rejected.
I'm a big fan of Gary Vee, and I've mentioned him on other episodes.
Yeah, shout out to Gary.
Gary Vee, for the way that he talks about, like, especially for like a 40-year-old, like I just turned 40, right? So he gets to a point where people are like, if you don't like what you do something different. You're still young. And then it's like goes off on like how many other people have started successful businesses past 40.
Right.
Like KFC, the guy was like 52, right? Like when he started Colonel Sanders, like being Colonel Sanders and starting KFC, it took a very long time to build up to the point where it's like, all right, I want to start my own business, right? But if you don't like what you're doing, change it.
Yeah.
Do something different.
Yeah.
Don't wait for it to come to you, right?
Yeah.
And some people, unfortunately, are stuck into where it's like, okay, I have to pay bills and I have to take care of whatever responsibility, and totally valid. But then it's like, okay, if you got a great voice, like let's say you have a great voice, which we already talked about that, but if you were doing something different and you wanted to get into, say, radio or whatever, you could do a podcast at night, right? And you could get that practice in and repetition and hopefully eventually build it out to where it could be something marketable. Or potentially become a radio host. You know, just by someone hearing your voice and saying, man, this guy's incredible. I love what he's writing, whatever, right? So it's never too late. Never too late to change it. But as far as like doing all the things that you do, what do you want to be most known for?
That's the tough one.
I know. That's why I ask it.
That one sucks because you can't control that. Because if that was the case, then you were mentioning the homie Matt Rife. He would not be known for crowd work. He would be known for just being a good comedian. Because that's the crazy part to me is that as a friend of his who's known him since he was 17 and we were doing shows together, I've never seen him do crowd work until the internet.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it's like, those are that's throwaway material because we can't replicate a moment in time. So I do it too. I upload my crowd work. And then you come to the show and then I have like, a structured set full of jokes. And then, we'll segue into something random if I want to, or if somebody's silly or, oh, what's that news story in the news? Sure. And then back to jokes and then this and the third. We usually have a plan. We're not just up there shooting the shit. There are comedians who do that though, who are crowd work comedians, which are really good at it. There's a lot of them who are, they have it where they set up the crowd work and they can knock it down every time where it's maybe the same kind of question setups, but it's a different reaction every time. Harlan Williams is great at that. Ian Bagg is great at that. There's a lot of people who do that. But I know for a fact he would, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I feel like he would rather be known for just the comedy that he was doing up until that point.
For sure, but that's also what's made him very popular is the crowd work, and that's what's also unique to the internet, right? Yeah. If you do the same set and you just post the same set over and over and over again, you can't. No, you can only share the best time you ever did that joke in whatever crowd it was in, and that only that limits your exposure, right? But he can do it, a show every single night and have different content. And then he do just a week's worth of shows. Listen. And have a whole year's worth of content, potentially.
Listen, I got 3 years of content on my hard drive that needs to get uploaded. I got from 2022 till now of all my sets, and I have not uploaded every single clip. But, but in the sense of wanting to be known for something, I'm not 100% sure right now. I think it's one of them things where, kind of like what you just mentioned, it's never too late to figure out what you want to do. A part of me doesn't know if I still want to do this. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it because I know that this is what pays my bills, kind of, sort of. And it's fun still. It's not like it's not fun. But there's a part of me that's just like, we should make a business somehow. Like just something that like can make its own money in the background. That's what my brain is telling me. Or it's like, what happened to you wanting to be like a director? Because I know that when I was younger and I started acting, I would shoot my own stuff. So a part of me really enjoyed the process of like, setting things up and producing something and having actors. And even if I had to act in it, it was like I enjoyed being behind the camera and doing stuff like that. And then another part of me is like, oh, you still know how to draw. You could literally just start painting and drawing again. And
well, let's brainstorm this real quick. Because what type of art did you do? Was it caricatures or is it like
I'm trying to think what was my medium? It was I don't know. It was like realistic / figurative drawing. Is that what it is? And just like I was good at drawing over painting, but I can paint. But it was like I would like to draw people and I can, easily draw cartoons. I could draw like Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls off the top of my head right now if I wanted to. But it was very much like realistic things. I don't know why, but I got into like this one like artistic block of just drawing like arms and hands.
Okay.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I was good at it, and friends would tell me that's really good because hands are hard as shit to draw, and I'm like, oh, I'm just looking at them, and like I can draw what I'm looking at, but I mean I don't know if it can be one for one.
Yeah.
I don't do that like photorealism art. I don't think I'm that good.
Well, for instance, I think of like two different artists, and they're different in their own respects. You have Devin Rodriguez,
yeah,
who does
he's really good.
characters of people just like, hey, now it's like kind of more staged, but like, it's like, oh,
I like him.
I just
man.
happened to run into some random A-list celebrity on the train.
everything on your phone is fake, so I don't know why people are even surprised.
But he used to run into people that were actually like more like unknown, right?
Yeah,
so
no,
it's kind of nice
course.
to like get to learn people like, or just up and coming, or just they're very niche, you'd never heard of them.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. The other one is also like Vic Blends.
Yeah.
So doing haircuts for people, just free haircuts, but he just has and that's his art, right? Is
cut
doing
Obama's
haircuts.
hair. I keep seeing that on my For You
There's a lot of
or
different-
my
yeah.
watch page, YouTube, right? Yeah.
Yep. And so just being able to do that as well as just have a conversation with someone. Maybe there's a way where you can like involve your art in some way with a person, and like they don't see it till the very end, but it's a podcast,
Maybe.
and maybe put it up for people can buy it, right?
Possibly.
Who knows?
Yeah. No, there's too many options. I think that's what I hate the most about being an entertainer. There's too many options now.
Yeah.
And there's too many avenues. I remember when it was kind of like simple. It was like you act or you write or you direct. It's like you had one way, but now it's like, oh, great, you act, right? Cool. But have you uploaded like 20 clips of your acting so that people know that you can act? Because we're not really basing it much off of talent anymore. There's so many like, factors of just like, are you a known name? And can you sell tickets? Which at the end of the day, because who was it? It was Ethan Hawke and his daughter talking about that recently, where they said that they have tried pitching projects, but they have to cast based off of followers. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that, but I've heard that, definitely.
I think I've never seen it too much in my career, except for maybe 2 times, but they were commercial auditions. But it was like in the room, and it was like 2013. It was back when like Vine was really popular, and I had somewhat of a Vine following because I knew all the people who were really popular on Vine. But they were asking me like, what's your social media looking like? And I'm like, huh? I'm acting. I don't need you don't need my social media. But they were
Like, no, your marketing is also going to be involved in
their
this.
brain probably, they were like, I think where they were trying to sell whatever this ad was to whoever, and they wanted people who I guess had something of a following. And I had one, but it was just like, I don't know. It's even sillier when I get auditions and I see the audition says in the breakdown, we want a this famous person type.
Yeah.
And my brain is like, fuck you, hire that famous person.
I'm going to go back home.
Or get your budget up. Because my thing is, I know a lot of them. Like, I've had auditions. Like, I think I had a Jack in the Box commercial one where it was my boy, King Batch. And they said, we want a King Batch type. Because King Batch is in the background negotiating with them. And they're like, fuck, we need to run auditions because we might not be able to afford what's his name.
Yep.
And eventually, he
gets the job.
No, it was funny. They, even for that role, it wasn't to play that character, but it was like, they just wanted someone with followers to jump in a pool. And it's funny because I guess they got some kid on TikTok and you don't even see his face in this commercial. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't waste my time with that shit. But Batch was like the spokesperson for it for like it was like a maybe, I don't know, 6 to 12, I think, spot block of him and Jack from Jack in the Box pitching tacos or some shit. And I'm like, good for Batch. He probably made like over 6 figures. Good for him, but my thing is just like, go hire them.
Yeah.
Just do that. I just did a commercial campaign and they said on the breakdown, they were like, we want my other homeboy, O'Shea Jackson Jr. They want an Ice Cube son type. Or I think they might have wrote like Donald Glover or something. And then I was like, yo, those are 2 different people on the spectrum. They are not the same type of people. And
like, we're going to cast this with 2 different types of people and then see what sticks.
It was so random. The only thing that I enjoyed seeing on there was the fact that it said we want like a tall, fit guy. And my brain was like, well, I'm tall. And I was like, thank God I've been working out lately. And I booked the job. And I'm looking forward to whenever this shit comes out because we shot, I thought I only was doing 1 spot and ended up being 5. So I'm like, oh. Fuck yeah.
How long ago was that?
Like half a month, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a national campaign for a company that sells bedding. That's I guess is that how it goes? Yeah. It's a mattress company.
Yeah. But it's in the bedding world.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's just one of them things where it's like, I remember I was like looking at all the other guys who I was going up against, because I went up against like 2 other friends who are like internet / actors / social media people, and I was like, I don't think you'll get it. I looked at another guy, I'm like, I don't know if you'll get it. And then I just remember me and the director having a funny, playful callback, and I'm like, oh, he likes me. Yeah. I got my job. Cool. I'm good. I got this. We'll just have fun. Yeah. And then my brain was like, good job. You grew out a mustache. That's slightly different. We'll do that. Yeah. Acting still sucks though.
Well, speaking of jobs and all the things you've done, where can we find you right now? Like this is your time to be able to look right into that camera and tell people where they can find you and where they can see all your glamorous work.
Man, just internet. I don't know. You know what? I think that's and not to complain. This is just the irony of wanting to be an actor when you're younger is that you work so hard to try to get on TV and in the movie theater. But now things have progressed so fast with the internet. All I'm doing is working as hard as I can to get back on the internet, which is fucking stupid. Like I say that because I started randomly making sketch videos. Yeah. When I was my first, like, I think 2 years of acting, I was like, oh, okay, I've auditioned like over what feels like 70 to 80 times and not booked anything. And then a friend told me get on YouTube and, you know, make some content.
So you did a lot of the original YouTube.
2010, I was just making skits because I was like, I'm auditioning for jokes that aren't funny. I keep reading these scripts. I'm like, this shit is not funny. And then I was like, I'll just make my own stuff. And then I started making my own stuff. But it's funny because I was making my own stuff for the purpose of, one day I'll get off the internet and be on TV. Yeah. But now it's like, no, we're going to put you back on the internet.
Now you're on TV and you're trying to get back to the
Yeah. But no, I'm on everything. JD Witherspoon on all socials. If you enjoy video games, because I didn't really get deep into that, I go by Run JD Run. I don't know why that's my gamer name, but it's stuck and now it's its own brand. And I work with a lot of gaming companies under that thing.
Very cool.
So you can find me on Twitch. I'll probably be live later today because the new Assassin's Creed just dropped, so I'm probably going to play that. But I don't know. That's me. I'm on those platforms doing those things and just having fun. Yeah. You know, I think now I'm just in a place where I'm like, let me just control my career because I'm getting closer to 40. I'm 37 this year, and I would like to be able to say like, oh, I do want to do this thing, or I don't want to do this thing. I don't want to have to go back and forth over. I mean, I'm always going to audition. Like if my agent sends me an audition, I'm going to go for it. But, you know, I want to control more of my future. So it's like stand-up comedy. I want to control podcasting and the internet. I feel like those are the 3 avenues where you're like, if you want to be an entrepreneur, that's where, well, for me, at least as an entertainer, that's where you go. And then if you're a business person, it's just like, you know, sell your stuff online, e-commerce, whatever. But that's, I think, my current and future goal. And if I want to do this thing, you know, I kind of said I want to be a talk show host. I'm like, just do it yourself. Yeah. Do it now. Start interviewing people, yap, and have a good time and document all these things and then maybe sell that or license that out, you know, like Rogan and all that stuff. And shout out to Joe. I did his show with my dad back in like 2019. It was
very cool episode, by the way.
It was fun.
A lot of fun.
I didn't think I was supposed to be there. I was like, Joe, I don't have to be there. I was like, I can just connect you with my dad because we met randomly in the comedy scene. He's like, nah, come do it. I'm like, you sure? And he's like, yeah, it's like 2 generations of comedy. That's a fun conversation. I'm like, sure. And
it was a blast.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Hearing your impression of him was hilarious.
I enjoy it. He thought it was so silly. He don't sound like me. But what's even funnier is that he almost tried to bail last minute. I was like, Dad, it wasn't even about me wanting to be on the show. I was like, Dad, that's rude. Don't do that. Because you ain't doing shit this afternoon. You're just being lazy. And he was like, he's like, how far is this place? I'm like, Dad, it's down the street. Like it's like 20 minutes from where we live. 20 minutes. I could be taking a shit right now. I'm like, just
stop. The ASMR bit was hilarious. The ASMR. Oh my gosh. Yeah. If you guys have not seen this episode, go back. It's from 2019. Go back in the archives of Joe Rogan and just search JD Witherspoon, Joe Rogan, and it'll pop up. It was a fun episode.
It was a fun, silly pre-COVID, Austin, Texas comedian boom entertainer thing. I enjoyed it. It was better days. It was a good time for sure.
Yeah. So JDWitherspoon.com.
I should have that. I have that. I have
Sorry,
that.
what, so
I have that.
no, shout it out one more time, real quick.
Just JD Witherspoon on all socials. I have
Okay,
that domain, and I need to set it up. Craig, we should set it up.
Or if it's not available, you can do j.d.
No, it's not.
Witherspoon.
It's not. It is available because I had to wait for someone who, by the way, after Rogan, people were ripping.
Everyone does that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
As soon as they randomly discovered me, they were like, somebody sent me an email like, "Hey, bro, I realized you didn't have this domain. Oh, bro, I got it for you. Just send me 4K. I was like, what?
No.
And then shout out to somebody who was actually watching me on Twitch. They explained how to get the domain back, and they researched when my name was going to be available again, and I waited and then got it, and now I just pay a fee to keep the name.
Okay.
And it's under Network Solutions website or something. I don't know. It's there, or Namecheap. I don't know. I just know
Let's get it set up.
I just know that I pay for it. And I need to set it up and connect it with all my crap and do one of those things. But I mean, but then a part of me is like, do I? Because kids don't go on your website. They like, if they care about you enough, they will.
Yeah.
Well, adults will. Once they become adults, they'll be like, how do I find tickets? And then it's like, put your fucking website in the bio. But nowadays it's like link trees or OnlyFans links. OnlyFans / I'm just kidding.
Feetfinder.com.
Oh, OnlyFans hit me up, though. That was funny. I don't know why. I should talk about that. They sent me an email, and they were like, we were trying to get creatives on the platform. I was like, have you seen your platform? Because I've seen it. And last time I checked, there's morality clauses in between that. I'm not doing that. So, yeah, very silly.
Well, dude, I really appreciate you sharing a little bit about yourself.
Thank you.
We're not done here yet, but
We're not.
With that said, we will be right back.
Being a small business is difficult, and that's why each episode we've decided to shout out a different small business that either we enjoy or a guest enjoys. In this episode, JD and I have chosen a cookie company called Fleurs. Now, this cookie company got really popular because they used to only do in-person cookie drops. But now they have a way where you can buy their cookies online. So please go visit fleurscell.com. I'm probably butchering the name, and I definitely cannot spell it properly. So go check the comments, or you can see it on screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. But fleurscell.com, go support them, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed with these cookies. I am getting so hungry just thinking about them and saying their name. Please go visit fleurscell.com. And with that, let's jump back into the episode. We'll see you in the pod.
So we're back with Mr. JD Witherspoon.
I like that. That was cool. It's like baseball.
It's kind of nice, right? Little intro.
JD Witherspoon coming up to the mat, and he's gonna swing. Oh, and a miss. I knew he wasn't that good. I don't know.
Would you like to play a little game called This or That?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I love that you said that, because if you said no, we'd be playing it anyways.
No.
That's
Yes,
just not fun.
yes, and I'm an actor. We have to do. Listen. I wasted my time going to UCB so I could get it on my. You don't know what that is. Upright Citizens Brigade. It's a improv troupe. But yeah, you have. Your agent will just tell you, hey, go do improv because you need to be a better actor. Also, they're like casting directors like seeing it on your. On your resume and whatnot. But yeah, yes and all this shit.
Awesome.
Anything you want. Zip, zap, zop.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's a weird game they play.
Well, this segment of This or That is brought to you by Coastline Travel Advisors. Ooh. So if you are looking to go anywhere in the world, take a vacation or just traveling for business, whatever you're looking for, flights, hotels, excursions, they do it all. Go to coastlinetravel.com.
Sponsor? I want sponsors. This is cool.
It'd be nice, right? They're not a sponsor.
They're just...
And I'm gonna say that specifically for YouTube, so they don't try to black us out.
Oh, well,
they're actually not
shout
paying
out.
for this. I use them for my own personal travel, and I just really enjoy them.
cool.
Yeah, so make sure you go check them out. Yeah,
that's very smart. I need to start promoting people.
You know, we just had a
free.
small business shout out. It's kind of another small business shout out kind of thing, right? So
super dope.
Yeah, just really want to show people where to go to book their travel. They don't take a fee. They get their cuts from the hotels and the airlines.
Is it cheaper than Delta?
It's not cheaper. The pricing is the pricing. It just takes it out of your hands. You can literally just email someone and be like, hey, I want to go here and do this and blah, blah, blah. And they just do everything for you.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they set things up, and then you can tweak stuff around, whatever you want to do. And the cool thing is that they work with a company called Virtuoso. So they're within their network. Yeah. And so if you're looking to get like an amenity or like an upgrade at a certain hotel or whatever.
Right.
You can get
That's booking a trip. I'm tripping. I don't know why I said Delta. That's a plane. So yeah.
No, but that's part of taking a trip.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like they cut
Trains,
that out.
planes, Ubers.
I need to travel
transports.
more. I need to travel more.
Well, stop doing all the things you're doing.
I would love to quit and be a famous millionaire. Someone just some billionaire, give me money. I'm just kidding.
Just green light my show so I can be a host. I asked 20 questions. The first question I asked to every single person just because we like to get a gauge on it. It's a lot of fun.
Sure.
After that, it's just random questions and then some stuff. It's a little more serious. I don't know.
I'm into it.
We'll see what happens. Tacos or pizza?
Goodness gracious, this is gonna break the internet. That's hard. That's a very hard question. I'm on a fitness kick right now, so I'm going to go with tacos because there's more protein.
There you go.
In life,
I'm gonna go taco bowl, no tortilla.
But in life, oh, that's so. I mean, if it would don't go back on it, JD. It's tacos.
Tacos, I know.
Taco
Sometimes it
Tuesday.
depends on if you're West Coast or East Coast. You know. Depends
Well,
on
yeah,
where
I
you're
hear
at.
you cannot get good tacos on the East Coast. I have a friend who lived in New York, and he was like hated it, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, they maybe make more like Puerto Rican and Peru different foods out there. Dominican, he's like, no tacos, bro.
They also have more Italians and
Yeah.
the pizza scene in
There you go.
the East Coast is just wild. So
That makes sense.
not as good out here. Daytime or nighttime?
That's weird because I like the daytime, but I don't like waking up early in the daytime. I like getting creative at night. So I'm gonna say daytime just because the sun. My dad always used to say this. He said, "Oh, I want to get out of the house so I can see the sun before it goes down." So that's like a thing for me. I like to be able to get out of the house and see the sun.
That's beautiful,
yeah.
especially because working in the nighttime scene, right? In the comedy scene and
Yeah.
everything like that.
He would like genuinely say like along the lines of like, "Oh man, I didn't get a chance to see the sun today," and I'm like, "Oh, that's sad."
He's
Like,
work until 3-4 in the morning or whatever.
or
and
maybe I think he just being I don't know, an adult.
that's beautiful though. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. It makes me want to like enjoy getting up.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go have a
Touch grass. We need to all do it more.
And I have turf, so it's just read a book or watch the movie.
Oh, movie. I hated books.
Not
and
a reader.
it's so funny because my wife is a huge reader. Like she's like, you didn't read the Harry Potter books? I'm like, hell no. She was like, for her, reading is an escape.
Yeah.
For me, reading was a punishment as a kid.
I'm with you on
yeah,
that. Yeah.
It was like book reports. I'm like,
Yep.
you just want to ruin my summer? What do you
100%,
mean?
100%.
Let me just be lazy.
Yeah.
Why am I working in the off time?
Paper or plastic?
Paper, better for the environment. Paper. And I like writing. I write things down a lot. I'm a comedian, so I have to write my jokes. And I don't know when I use plastic outside of like, I need to put these in a bag.
I can't stand paper straws though.
Paper straws are all right. I don't know.
Smell in your mouth.
Yeah, I don't.
Gross.
The turtles are dying anyway. It doesn't matter what we use; they're gonna die because we're human, and humans kill turtles. That's what we do. No, I'm just kidding.
I could go on another tangent there, but I'm not going.
Except for the Ninja Turtles,
true,
we love them.
True.
And
MMA or boxing?
boxing.
Boxing.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're hurting Joe Rogan's heart there.
Yeah, listen, I don't know. Joe doesn't answer all my texts. It's okay. He's not thinking about me at all. Still follows me on Instagram though. Shout out to Joe. But no, UFC is cool. Very cool. I think it's just one of those things where it's like the art of boxing is just way more like structured, and I like to see two people who are doing the same thing. When you see MMA, it's just like a cluster of like, I know jujitsu, I know something else,
Yeah.
and now we're just wrestling.
Yeah.
We're just on the floor hugging. I don't know. Shout out to UFC for being $1 billion business, and I'm not a huge fan of Dana White, but I guess good for them. They're making money. They're making money.
They are making money.
They're making money off of people murdering each other. That's their job.
True. Put them in a cage, lock them in.
Yeah.
So
And pay them badly.
You do a lot of voiceovers. Who do you like more, Siri or Alexa?
Oh, I like Siri more because she's with me more times in the day. And if the apocalypse happens, I would hope that she would think I was a good overlord for the time being. Alexa is just smarter.
Yeah.
Same with Google.
Alexa just doesn't listen very well.
You think so? I think she listens way better than.
She just doesn't do it for me in our household. But, it is what it is.
I just hate when it's like you ask either of them a question and it's like, I can't do that. And it's like, no, you can.
You can.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Also, don't curse at them. They know it's happening.
Very true. I just get to a certain point sometimes, and I'm going to try to go over to the mic and be like, Alexa! Like, turn the song down. Yeah. Give advice to your younger self. This is one of my favorite questions. Give advice to your younger self or speak with your older self.
Ooh. I don't know why I reacted like that. I think I would give advice to my younger self. I think I would because I don't think I got enough advice as a younger person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been talking to my therapist about that. So I think it's one of those things where I would have, I don't know. Yeah, I would have I wish
stayed on the internet.
I think it's more of like a mental health thing, like emotional intelligence and having the capacity to be a good human. And not to say I was a terrible young person, more to say that I wasn't taught how to, I think, coexist and treat people, and I was very much working off of how I was treated. So I think I treated a lot of people the way I was treated, and that wasn't, I think, kind. And I think a part of me wishes I could have just explained to a younger version of myself to the do's and don'ts in the world and the boundaries of people, and just how to just be a better person and not be so I don't know, blunt or just off. I don't know. I think a part of me just wishes I could have, with the therapy brain I have now, wish I could have just told a younger version of myself, hey, not that I ruined anyone's life or I ruined my life or anything. It's more just, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's your youngest years are usually your shittiest years. And sometimes you can just become a person who gets who peaks in high school and then you're just shitty for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm that. I just think that I don't know, I could have been kinder to some of the people in my life in my late teens, early 20s.
Yeah. Same a little bit there. And I would say mine goes back to almost listen more, speak less.
Listen more, speak less.
Because that would alleviate a lot of those conversations.
Hear people and process what they're talking about, process your own feelings. Also, I'm afraid to talk to my future self because it could be shit. What if it's shit? There might not be something good there. You might go to the future and you're in a cardboard box and it's I told you we should have built a business. You just had to be an actor, huh? To spare change? I don't know what that would be.
You had to do all 9 podcasts.
Yeah.
Dine in or dine out?
Dine out.
Yeah. Getting out of the house.
I mean, dine out just for I just enjoy a good dinner out at a nice restaurant for sure. And dining in, I feel is 80% of our lives. So it's I know what that's the difference between watching a TV while I'm eating or not. That's, Yeah, no, dine out. Yeah, I feel you get to enjoy the ambiance. I like going out to dinner with my wife. We just celebrated her birthday recently, and I remember we went to Vegas, and every night we went to a nice restaurant because I was just it's your birthday. Let's blow this money in Vegas. Let's do it, baby. And then and it was nice. Every dinner that we had was genuinely nice, and we went to all these really nice. We went to all these restaurants that we had been kind of craving, going to Vegas is a treat. So it's we went to this nice Asian restaurant. We went to this what's his name? Fly Me to the Moon. What's this guy? Oh my goodness. No, maybe that's not the guy. Oh my goodness. Sinatra. Yeah. Sinatra has a restaurant in the hotel we were in. Sorry. Sinatra's. I didn't know. I didn't know. Yeah. But we went to that restaurant. They had a mean steak. We did that. We went to Buddy V's, got some Italian food. It's just being out, eating food is nice in comparison to just sitting there. Yeah. For sure. 100%. In your home. You can eat in your home.
My wife and I try to go date nights once a month.
And
we got a 3-year-old, so it's just, not easy. Okay, well, let's transform this question a little bit. You are taking your wife out. Are we going to the zoo or are we going to the aquarium?
Let's go to the aquarium. That feels more... I feel that feels like a better date because the animals can't throw shit at you through the fence. I don't know. I've seen crazy viral videos of the zoo. Not gonna lie to you, I haven't been to the zoo since I was a kid.
Right?
I feel the zoo sounds like a nice trip, right? You know what it feels like? The zoo sounds like a nice nostalgia trip. And then you get there as an adult and you're yeah, we should have went to the aquarium. Yeah. 1, it's hot out here because it's usually outside. 2, the ethics of a fucking zoo feels shitty. It's yeah, we stole them and trapped them. That's weird. Tiger King, whatever.
Technically, you're trapping all the fish too.
But at least they don't know that.
At least they're stupid.
Yeah,
I think the last zoo I went to was in Hawaii actually. Yeah. And took my son there, and it was, I don't know, he must have been a little over 1 year old or something like that. But it was kind of cool showing him all the giraffe and showing the lions and all that stuff. It's really kind of fun. But totally understand the inside, depending on the weather. The
lions and giraffes in the Bronx sounds shitty. No disrespect to the Bronx Zoo. It just sounds mean. It's just they're supposed to be. Have you seen Lion King? They're not supposed to be here. You know, it just the
different type of jungle.
Yeah, I mean, but
so we got SNL or In Living Color.
Oh, that's crazy.
I
think in the sense of what I grew up on, In Living Color and Mad TV were always the things I was watching. I didn't really know what SNL was until I started acting, if I'm being honest. I knew it was a show. I used to always think it was catered towards more adults. I thought that I thought SNL was more like 30 and up crowd or 40 and up crowd. And I used to think Mad TV and Living Color was like, oh, if you're a teenager or a young 20-something, you're watching this because it's way more, like, if anything, they're making the jokes for a younger demo.
Yeah.
And I think it's just maybe I just didn't tune in to SNL because maybe it came on later. I have no idea. No, it came on around the same time as Mad TV. And then In Living Color is just, I think.
Do you think In Living Color could actually exist today, though?
I think it could. I think it's one of them things where it's like, I think it can, and it's just like people complain about it like they did back then. People act like they didn't complain back in the day. Do you not remember that they would boycott Eminem? Like, they'd be like, he's talking about murdering his mom and his wife and this, and he says these words. And it's like, yeah. And he just kept rapping. He was like, yeah.
He's like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, like NWA, like they were being escorted out of the Detroit Center when they played the F the Police song because they weren't supposed to. But it was like, yeah, we got in trouble. And
but could you
freedom of expression?
Could you even imagine Handyman existing in today? Like,
listen, there's a lot of characters on that show that you're gonna have. I mean, and I think it's one of those things where like I understand the thought process of younger generations and being progressive. I understand that. Like, I think that that's good because you're looking at it from the perspective of we should all feel good here. We should all feel equal. We should all feel comfortable. I'm not saying that that's not true. I think in the context of jokes, we should have some breathing room. Yeah. Because, no disrespect, some stereotypes are funny. I can't lie. Some racist things make me laugh. As a black person, it happens. But I have more of a palate for that. Maybe because I grew up around it and I understand it. I don't think that when you genuinely mean any of it, it's funny. No, I think people don't know how to separate the two. Yeah. For some reason, they think, no, if you said this, you mean this, and it's like, wait, but it's in the context of I'm a comedian in a comedy club. I'm not your president on the podium. or I'm not. You
know what's interesting is that like the person, like if you make there's a joke about a person in a wheelchair, the person that's laughing most is the person in the wheelchair.
Because it's like, because they experience it. So exactly. I as long as you're not like if you genuinely meant like all you wheelchair people.
There's a fine line between jokes and obviously hatred.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. I know that's true.
Yeah. DC or Marvel?
Oh man, I think, man, that's a hard one too. DC, I think, has
everyone's listening.
No, I think DC has really good stories. They just have they're terrible at executing them. Also, it's one of those things where like I think it's Marvel for me because I think I'm a fan of more Marvel characters, X-Men, Spider-Man's the third. But I do know DC fairly well from the perspective of like I grew up on that too. And if you go back and watch any of their animated stuff, it's amazing. But the only issue with DC is their characters kind of they don't feel human enough. That's their issue. Like Superman he's not human, obviously.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole creation of like superheroes versus Marvel characters. Is like not quite superheroes, but they are, but they're not. Like
they just feels like anyone can be these people. Yeah, that's the difference. Like you have the DC feels like gods amongst men. Outside of Batman, Batman is their North Star of like he's human. He's a billionaire, but he's still human. He's still like his parents died. He doesn't have powers. He's super duper smart. And never, for some reason he can take a punch from someone like Superman. But he, yeah.
So you're taking a road trip now. Who do you take the road trip with? Ice Cube or Chris Tucker?
I know Chris Tucker more personally. I know both of them. I think I go with Chris Tucker because I know him on like a personal level. And it's funny. I know Cube. I know Cube's son really well. But I don't hang out. I've never really spent personal time with Cube, and I don't know if I would fit his vibe. Or maybe I would. I have no idea. I think Chris Tucker just because I know that we have things in common. He golfs, I golf. He's called me before for like consulting on his social media and content strategy and random stuff.
That's cool.
Me and Ice Cube, I think it's like I saw him at my dad's funeral, and it was just like, hey, and he's like, oh, what up? And then it was like, all right, bye. Peace. Like that. that was the, you know, like he's a nice guy though. I've known him since I was a kid. Yeah, for sure.
Of course.
Yeah, his house was super big when we were kids, and he would play basketball in his. They had a basketball court at his house, and I remember one time my dad was there, and he got elbowed in his face, and his whole face blew up, and it was like swollen. And I was like, you need to take your old ass off that court, man. He's like, shut up, JD, and his whole face was just crazy.
Shut up, JD.
And me and Cube's son would be upstairs playing video games, because I remember I introduced the homie O'Shea to Super Smash Brothers on Nintendo GameCube, Melee, particularly. I have to specify that for those who are gamers. But yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I have maybe a closer relationship with Chris Tucker, so that's the only reason. Yeah.
Cool. When you check the time, you check your phone or you check your watch?
I check my watch. I'm a watch guy. I'm a watch guy. I feel like my dad was a watch guy, so I wear my watch all the time. And I think because I'm right-handed, I wear my watch on my left, because sometimes I see people wear it on their right, and I'm like, what's wrong with you?
That's usually the way to determine whether someone's right or left-handed.
I think I would assume.
I wear it on my left because it's not as dominant.
I think that's why we do it. But also, I know like right-handed people who wear it on the right, and I'm like, monster. Like I don't know why that matters. None of it matters. You're allowed to be left-handed. It's okay, or right-handed.
So I actually use my phone because I always forget when I'm wearing this watch in particular. Oh, because this watch was the watch I was wearing when I was at an aquarium. Actually, when we found out when Kobe passed, and so I actually changed the time on this to 8:24. It stays as 8:24 because I want to always remember to keep that Mamba mentality in everything I do. So that's cool.
The Kobe watch. Yeah, no, for sure. You know what it is? I only check on a watch like that, I might check my phone more just because I have to read the time. But I mean, I can read time, which is great. Kids don't know how to read time anymore.
No,
that's
especially on the hands, then not a chance. All digital.
It's crazy how they don't teach that, or cursive. But I don't know. But yeah, no. I usually just the extra step of taking my phone out seems ridiculous. I would just maybe.
But I also don't have the like the Apple Watch.
Well, yeah, no. This is more of a life and benefit me from like counting steps and shit.
Steps. And
I don't know. Yeah.
So going back to what you'd rather be known for, would you rather be a TV star or a film star?
Film. I think film. Yeah, I think film, because I think film is the last like saving grace of entertainment, theater, movies, and I think we still probably have a weird maybe few years until it's obsolete. But yeah, I think film. But also the concept of being a film star by your name and your kind of resume, because like Anthony Mackie talks about this recently. He's like, there's no more film stars. There are characters, and then there are actors who play them.
Yeah,
because he's like, people don't know who Falcon is, or people don't know who Anthony Mackie is. They know who Falcon is. They know who Captain America is. But it's like, if I'm walking down the street, I don't get stopped randomly and they're like Anthony Mackie. It's like Captain America.
Yeah.
So you're not the star anymore. And he said, if you remember the 90s, like, Jack Nicholson, it was Jack Nicholson selling the movie. It wasn't the story being told that he's playing the character. And it's like, no, he's the star. Tom Hanks, Will Smith, Denzel, all them. Those are the last iteration of like film stars, like up until probably maybe the middle of the early 2000s, maybe 2005, maybe 2010. I know there's people who definitely have a name and they sell. Like, it's not like that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But if you think of the most famous person out there in entertainment, I don't think you put a movie star's name up front. You'll be like, Kardashian?
True. No, that's an interesting take.
Mr. Beast?
That's a hot take. So now you're stuck on an island.
Yes.
2 more people from your past. Are you stuck on the island with Sean or Marlon?
Well, you said people from my past are there?
Well, no, from Sean. Well, I mean, they're sure you're part of your future.
Oh, just people I know?
Yeah.
Or I thought you were saying I could choose who it is.
No, Sean or Marlon. You get to choose one person to be on the island with.
Oh, that's funny. Wayne's obviously.
Yeah,
I guess it's Marlon because I talk to him more.
Yeah.
Sean's a nice guy. He's very he's a bit of I don't know if he's a recluse. I don't know if that's the word, but he's very to himself. Him and Keenan, they're both very to themselves. They weren't at their thing recently. Their own it was like their life achievement award for the Waynes from, and I think it was NAACP or something. I think they couldn't make it, but it was like, I think they're just very to themselves.
Yeah,
they're very like mind heavy and just they're thought forward. But I think they like their personal space, and I wouldn't want to be around someone who it's like, am I bothering?
Yeah.
You know, on an island.
Am I getting too close to your bubble?
Am I taking up too much of the island? Listen, I'm just gonna segment this little sand for me. No, Marlon, I've hung out with him. I've been to dinner with him. He's a fun guy. He's a chill dude. He's a wacky, silly 50-something-year-old. And I mean, I get it. If I was famous at 16 or whatever age, or if I got to watch the blueprint of like, oh, my 4 or 3 other siblings are already famous, I guess I'll be famous too.
I guess I'll do that. Why not?
Because I was like, it's so funny because like from the perspective of being able to see success, like me and my wife have talked about this on our own podcast, where she said you're very fortunate to even be able to have the mindset of thinking that you can do what some of these people can do. Because I would watch my dad and I was like, oh, I would look at other people, like other adults. I'm like, why don't you go do entertainment? It seems like it's cool. Like, obviously nobody can choose what happens with their career, but even when I started acting, I used to look at friends who weren't acting and I'm like, dude, it's like a cheat code, or like entertainment's a cheat code. You telling me I get paid to just be a silly goose? Like, let's try it.
Silly goose.
That's how I
that.
saw it. And then, but my wife was like, yeah, but you don't realize that there's people who live in certain places or certain spaces or come from certain upbringings where no one in their family believes that any of that's possible.
Yeah.
So you thinking that you can do that, you might sound like a goddamn nutcase thinking that you're you think you can be on TV, like, you know, and you're in the middle of like Iowa. I'm like, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, no, I was lucky enough to passively see it.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
my brain, and I never thought like, oh, he's doing it, so he'll give me a job. I just thought like, well, he's doing it, so I don't know why I couldn't try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
it's the opposite for me because I actually saw it growing up, and I didn't want to be a part of it.
I didn't either.
It's weird.
I
right?
didn't
It's a
either.
little
But my
bit-
stupid friends in college were like, you keep wasting time making us laugh in class. Why don't you go get on TV?
Yeah.
And I was like, nah.
I mean,
I was like, I know a guy.
if you're naturally funny and
It
just,
was,
you know,
but
people
I
keep telling you to do it, then you kind of have to give it a try.
But also, I think I didn't want to do it because I resented my dad for how much time he had to spend away from us.
100%.
So
that's exactly why I
Yeah,
wanted to be.
I was
my
like-
dad was always gone.
Yeah,
So,
30% of my life is you're not here. So I would be like, I don't want that.
did we just become best friends? So my last 5 questions here, they typically get a little more serious, but I'm actually going to flip it a little bit because the next segment that we typically do is going to be, we do a podcast promotion.
Sure.
And we typically choose a random podcast, but I want to choose yours because I really enjoy your podcast, JD Radio.
JD
For
Radio.
Although looking on Instagram, it's at JD Radio.
Yes.
So I'm going to throw 5 questions at you, and these are all based on recent things that you've talked about on your podcast.
Sure.
So you'll already know the topics, which is great.
Sweet.
But you get to talk about them for a quick moment here. Drake or Kendrick?
I mean, you know, it's funny, that whole thing. I mean, it's obviously Kendrick, but man, Drake, I liked you, dude. I still like, I'm one of those people where I'm not going to write him off into the sunset. I like his music.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's been part of my formative years. I can't, but also it's one of those things where like in the background, and I will say that like in the background, I feel like Kendrick was the artist that I'm like, this dude's talented. Like it's one of those things where it's like the difference between listening to what you like versus to, oh, I'm listening to fine art. Like going, like, going, the difference between going to like a museum that's like, like it's a museum. I mean, I don't know how to compare it, but it's like going to a museum and understanding the art versus going there and being like, oh, look at those colors. Like you don't really know much. I don't know. Yeah, but definitely Kendrick. I think it's one of those things where I can't imagine why Drake thought it wasn't Kendrick. I understand from the success point of view. Yeah, you're more successful. There's a lot of people who are more successful but who are less talented. That's just a part of life. I think Drake was kind of just lost in the ego of thinking, no, I'm the more talented one. And it's like, come on, bro. You've been cheating off other people in the class and getting straight A's. This guy, he discovered quantum physics. It's like, I don't know.
I will give you a little bit of giving you flowers for this, I guess. Little pat on the back. Back in September, you put a post up, and it popped up on my For You page, kind of thing, like.
So random.
Because I start following you, and then I'm started looking at stuff, and then just whatever. But it popped up, and I was like, "Oh, you told white people to buckle up," which I thought, because you're about to get Black History coming up in the Super Bowl, and I'm just like, that is so funny that you said that because I when they're like, "Oh yeah, Kendrick's gonna be in the Super Bowl like halftime," I wouldn't have thought that, and then sure enough, you called it like you already knew like the whole production.
It's the room
that was going to happen. Crazy that you called that.
As a comedian, it's just one of those things where, I mean, you know why? I think it's just one of those things, and not to get on a soapbox about race. It's just, it's one of those things where when you're growing up and you're a person of color, you realize that like the normalcy of entertainment is usually white folks. It just is. It's not a bad thing. It's just listen, hey, the winners of wars tell the stories. So it's just one of those things where what you consider as a comedian, or just as a person, as a young black person, I've been this obviously this way my entire life, is like I consume everything. I consume black entertainment, white entertainment, Asian entertainment, Hispanic, Indian, whatever, this, that, and the third. And I think because of the dominance of, I guess, I don't know, white people, Europeans, I don't know if it's just that, but it's the way that the world kind of puts it out there. It's like, oh, well, this is mainstream. Like, this is like the Drake. This is the stuff you're going to watch because everybody watches it. And then there's subsections of things that you either randomly get into or you're just like, oh, that's a thing. I guess that's happening in the background, because you would be surprised how many people are like, yeah, I don't know, I never heard of this Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
And he's been famous for the better half of a decade.
Well, now you've heard of him.
Yeah. So no, I think it's just one of those things where I feel like people of color, it's like we see all aspects of parts of life, and I don't think it's true for every white person. I think a lot of white people are like, oh no, I love hip hop, or oh, I love sports, or I love this, I love that. But the more casual, maybe, I don't know if it's like middle of the country type people, or even just people in general who just don't tune into anything that isn't representative of what they know personally, are like, oh yeah, no, I don't know, I have no idea who that person is. Or whether it's Kendrick or someone who it's like, if I even bring up Chris Tucker, I know some white people who are like, I think I know that guy. Yeah, it's like, and
then you bring up Rush Hour, and they're like, oh yeah,
literally, yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, there's
you understand the words that come out of my mouth.
I know that like when as just joke references as a comedian, it's one of those things where you'll notice that like, oh, there's a lot of white people who don't have to consume everything. They can just consume the things that for them it's like, oh yeah, this is what I watch because this is what I resonate with. And as a person of color, you grow up watching everything because one, most of the heroes are white anyway. So you're looking at Superman like, I want to be Superman. Why not? Because there ain't no black Superman or there ain't no Hispanic Superman. You just see it like that, and you don't think anything of it until you get old enough, and you're just like, oh, well, here's the reason why that these segments of the world are so dominated by white people. But it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about that on episode 2 with April Showers and why she created the brand Afro Unicorn. There was no unicorns that looked like her. Yeah. So just like growing up with that, it's just a different experience.
It's just what it is. And even with that Kendrick joke, it's more the fact that like I'm performing at the Comedy Store on an off night in the belly room. I'm looking at the crowd and I'm looking at who's in the room. So I'm just sitting there saying like, hey, are you guys aware of this huge rap battle that's happening? And they passively are. But then I'm just like, did you hear he's going to be performing at the Super Bowl? Which is ironic because Drake is big at the Super Bowl. And then they're like, oh, I didn't dive into the rap battle that big. And then I'm like, all right, well, fuck you. It's time to teach you something. And then not fuck you. More just like buckle up. February's coming.
Buckle up.
Let me get you all ready.
I went to a private Christian school in San Diego, and I took a music, like intro to music class. We had to do a paper on a genre of music, and you could choose anything, but no one could double up. So you had to pick something, and I was like, there's no way everyone's going to choose hip hop and rap. So I did the actual history of rap and hip hop. All the way back from inception to, at that time, was like early 2000s. Yeah. And so, and the funny thing was actually that the teacher that I had was only one of 2 black guys at our school. And so he was like, this is actually interesting that you chose this. And I was like, I'm actually really interested. I got to learn all this. And so, got a B+. Unfortunately, I didn't get an A. But
even that's rare. Having a black teacher is rare. That, like, I never had a black teacher until I got to college. So that's like 20 years. And then I finally, and it had to be a black subject. I don't think it was just any random thing. It was like Pan-African studies. But like, all my teachers were white, Asian. They're usually white women, maybe a white man. And they usually were teaching like history, like even that. Like, it's like, we're not listening to, like, maybe we'll learn about Mesopotamia or Aztecs or something here and there, but it's like, black history, it's like, all right, we got 28 days, let's burn through it. And even certain Asian stuff, it's like, I don't know why, but I know way too much about the gold rush, way too much. I don't give a shit about this gold.
Well, all that to say, Kendrick, right? Xbox or PlayStation?
Man, I got to go with PlayStation because it's the OG. It's older than Xbox. If it was up to me, I would say Sega Dreamcast because I'm a huge
Okay.
best system.
Sega.
That's the best system. I don't know why. I wish they never got knocked out. But yeah, PlayStation, Xbox is great. Actually, Xbox has one of my favorite games, Halo. But dang, actually, now I feel bad. Master Chief would hate me.
This is why I asked that question, because I know it would be difficult once you actually started.
It's PlayStation just because Xbox got too lost in trying to take over the market back when they came out with the Xbox One. Like, why'd you do that, Xbox? You could have been the cool one. You had 360. They dominated the 360 generation.
Yeah.
And then they got the Xbox One, and they were like, we're gonna help you watch TV better and movies. And it was like, what? No.
Yeah.
Video games.
Yeah.
Stick to video games. And now I think they're going to get out of the console race now. Have you heard about that?
Well, that's part of what your episode is about. So talking about how consoles may not be because
not Xbox
eventually, and I don't want to take it away from people tuning into that. So I think that people should tune into JD Radio.
Check it out.
And so let's move on. We got a few more.
Let's do it.
This is one of my favorite, more controversial topics that you talked about. But is Beyonce country or not country?
Beyonce's country because she's from the fucking country.
Yes, she is.
I think it's just a bit of a slap in the face that she had to win via country album. Yeah. That's all. I'm just like, you're telling me nothing before this album was that fucking good that she didn't win album? Okay, all right.
I thought that was a good take.
Even Destiny's Child. Have you not heard Independent Woman Part 1? Ugh, it's what they play in the heavens. That's what I want to hear. When I'm in heaven, I want to hear. I want to hear. I don't think you're ready for that jelly. I want to hear that. I want to hear. Independent Woman Part 1. That's she's an angel. She's great. She's awesome. She
makes incredible music.
Yeah, and she makes good country music.
Yeah.
Stay mad. No, I don't know. Or stay happy. I know my wife wants to go on that tour. Follow my podcast and let's get some ad revenue so we can get those tickets for my wife.
And this went from the Xbox and PlayStation. Are you more of a physical media or more into streaming?
I'm a physical. Well, that's a tough one. I'm more into streaming through the convenience, but my brain is saying you need to buy more physical. You need to because they can take the streaming away from you at any time. You know, like your stuff is whether
even if you purchase it, you don't technically own it.
You don't own it. No. You know what's funny? You don't even. Well, nowadays, gaming wise, you don't own it even if you have the disc because the disc is just like a key to show that you have the license. But they can still pull the game, and the disc is just a piece of plastic or whatever.
Yeah.
But physical media from the perspective of anything that I guess doesn't have to go through those requirements that I can still use and play games on, particularly the games. Movies, I definitely should be more of a physical, but I'm just too lazy. I'm like, there's not any movies or TV shows that I already have them all. I think all the ones that I care about. I have like copies of Wayne's Brothers, Boondocks, Friday, anime and all that stuff. I read manga, so I don't know. But I do think physical is important. I think it's going to be gone soon, though.
Yeah,
Blu-rays are all getting dumped from Best Buy. I think they've already happened.
They've already been all physical media is gone from Best Buy.
CDs. It's weird. Records are making a comeback. Vinyl's making a comeback. Yeah.
Maybe it just needs to start back from the beginning and go back up.
There's a big secondhand market for retro video games. That's a thing. Yeah. Pokemon cards are at the top of the chain right now.
They are.
Cardboard.
Gary Vee talks about them all the time.
I've been buying them, and it's not good. I've been organizing mine from when I was a kid, but also a part of me is like, it's gambling. Mm-hmm. I respect this new generation because they're like, are you a gambler or do you just want to collect? And it's like, at least you're calling it for what it is because ripping them up and damn it, $2,000 gone, Mom.
Last one here, and this goes to your hooping days, and being just
days. I go hoop right now.
LA native. Kobe or LeBron?
I'm Kobe, dude. That's so easy.
Me too.
I don't even like having that conversation with people because I don't like that they leave Kobe out somehow. Mm-hmm. I don't like this.
It's always like MJ or LeBron.
What are you guys talking about? Was Kobe, did he not exist? Did he not die for your sins? He literally died. And y'all still disrespect him? I mean, I get it. LeBron is he's a god amongst men. He was built for the game. True. That's why I think I respect Kobe even more. Because he was built for it, but he wasn't like his stats, and it wasn't one of those things where they were calling him the chosen one out of high school. He was like, maybe he'll be okay. Bro, Kobe's one of the most transformative players of all time, and I'm not putting the ball in MJ or LeBron's hand in the last 10 seconds. Period. He's clutch city. What are we talking about?
I would always say the argument that I go back to people is saying that Kobe's a better baller. LeBron is a better athlete.
Yeah. All around hooper. And
you could look at LeBron and be like, man, he could be a bad tight end. Like real good.
He could do whatever he wants because he was physically built for that. Hence why Bronny's having a hard time.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Bronny, but for sure, your dad did not give you the God gene.
Yeah.
Your younger brother might have it because he just sprouted past you in height. But LeBron has genetics that are. I got to do something with all this because if he's working at Office Depot, we're like, what a waste. Yep. Look at this. Look at this specimen. Hey, man, more papers from the top rack. Like that would be ridiculous. Yeah. But no, I think it's just one of those things where like overall all time, I think we're going to keep it at Jordan just from the perspective of you can go pull up every achievement he's done in the short amount he did it and also the back-to-back times he did it. Because, they'll pull up the stats of like the player of the year, defensive all, what's it called, this and the third, and then they'll pull up LeBron's and it's not the same. And then even Kobe's is not the same. And I mean, Kobe is genuinely like, even he said he was like copying Mike's stuff. He was like Mike 2.0.
100%. You could see it in his game.
I would say LeBron is his own person and he's, he scored the most points, but I don't know. I'm still team Kobe. Kobe is just 100%. Kobe to me is the most ruthless version of a basketball player. Nothing else matters compared to winning in my eyes. I think even more than Jordan to a certain expectation. Like I think Jordan was kind of like, they got me on some game nights. I think Kobe was like, I can't stand that they got me. Yeah, I'm going back. And he's back into. I'm going back to practice. I'm going to go watch how it happened. I'll never let it happen again.
I think the end all be all to it and the mic drop is always when I tell people like, go wad up a piece of trash and shoot it and tell me what you say.
Yep. That's I like that. That's right. No, you don't say anything else. I love, man. Yeah. That's so sad he's gone.
Yeah, absolutely. But thank you very much for playing a game of this or that. Probably the longest game of this or that we've ever played. And that was a lot of fun.
I'm going for the longest episode on your channel. Let me get that.
I think you've gotten it so far. But if you are ever looking to go anywhere in the world, like we mentioned, this segment was brought to you by Coastline Travel. Go to coastlinetravel.com and go anywhere in the world. They'll take you there. So, JD, before we came here, I gave you a task.
Yes, you did.
First of all, download Moby 2.
Download it.
Download the app. And then go on the app, search around, and find a movie so that you and I could talk about it. There was a lot of movies I thought you would choose. A couple of movies that I also sent you. I sent you some options.
Yeah, I think I saw that after I chose.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh, there's a movie with Ice Cube in it. Like, throw it your way. See if you want to do it. But you chose a movie that I thought was a great pick because it was something that I never would have picked myself. And so I actually really enjoyed that you grabbed it. It's a movie called Action. And you're really into action comedies. And so that's literally what it was. It was a full just action comedy.
It was all over the place.
It was wild.
It was funny, though.
It was from 2020, and it was actually made in Bulgaria.
This film received awards.
And that was a cult hit.
And was even banned.
Daleko prego, un'auto qui confuso non c'è bracca.
Action. A complex, elaborate story featuring cowboys, aliens, gangsters, diamond experts, Mexicans,
Oh, Dios mío.
Russians, Japanese, Eastern Europeans, sexy girls, ninjas, one cop, and a dog. A film by the director. Wait, who? Unbelievable fights, massive shootouts, almost epic stunts, a couple of murders, an explosion, and a spare. A little bit of love, some sex, cash and cars, diamonds. Be advised, this is a low-budget Guy Ritchie ripoff. Don't expect much, and you might even enjoy it.
I'm John Keller. I'll make even this a hit.
It's action time.
fun fact on Momi 2, I found out we have 2 films that are from Bulgaria.
Shout out to Bulgaria.
Yeah. And episode 3, we had Lily on here, and she's actually from Bulgaria. She's a filmmaker. So really crazy pick. The director, and I'm going to read his name because I cannot pronounce it, Radoslav Iliev.
Sounded good.
Haven't heard of him.
Yeah.
Did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a fun movie because there was like a movie within the movie.
It was
kind of a fun little,
I think at a certain
thing.
point I was like, oh, this is like a movie within a movie about people who want to be in a movie.
Yep. About like an actor that was a movie star and all that stuff. So first take, what did you take from it?
Well, I will be honest. I did not realize I was choosing a foreign film until I started watching it because the trailer talked in English.
Yes.
It did the whole thing, and it was like, there's ninjas, there's this, there's that. And I'm like, oh, sure, this sounds wacky, weird. Sounds like a movie to whether you love to hate it or hate to love it. So I was like, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And then I think I started watching it, and I'm like, oh, subtitles. And I like subtitle movies. I got no problem reading the bottom of the screen. But I think I was also just trying to make sure I started watching something within the time frame of us having our conversation. But it ended up being very fun. It was fun. It was silly. It was definitely like a, what do I call these movies? Not slapstick. It was absurd. Yeah. That's the
Definitely.
word. The word is like, oh, there's this movie's got so much absurdity in it. Like even the plot line and I think there was certain parts where for me I was like you guys who are the main cast of this movie, you're not giving me enough of like this is like dire for you at certain points, because I was just like, I think there was like a part where a dude was doing Russian roulette with them, and I was like, bro, no one's pissing their pants or shitting. They're all just kind of like I
hope it's not.
I hope it's not. I was like, dog, I would die of fear.
I'd be blubbering. Like,
not to say
lip would be quivering.
Yeah, nothing to say. Like, not any type of like gripe with their acting. It was more just like, it felt like just a fun like, hey, we should make a movie. We should make a movie, and they made a movie, and I was shot well. I thought it was shot well. I thought the scenes were good. I thought the cinematography was good. I thought that they had moments where some of the characters made choices where I was like, well, that's not logical, but at the end of the day, that's how movies work. You just kind of need to get to the plot. So we have to have this character do this thing that you would never do, But definitely just a silly fun time.
Yeah, I mean, to give everyone a kind of an idea of this film, it's about these 3 kids who then grow up and they're still friends and they're all doing their different things in life because they just have to make a living and find a ways to, the ways that they all make money is just wild. And we won't get into it because I want to make sure people go watch it and see it. But it's just interesting to see how they have their own little niche. And then you obviously got the one guy who wants to be an actor, and but he's working as a bellhop, and that's so relatable. Like no matter if it's in Bulgaria or if it's in here, right? That's just relatable to work a job to try to hopefully then support yourself to then make it in the industry, right? So
definitely.
And he's trying to do it like so he can make it in Bulgaria, and then hopefully then make it to Hollywood, so he can be like the character that they're all in love with, which is what it shows is Turbo Cop.
Yeah, I think the part about the movie, like how you just said, it's a movie within a movie. Not to spoil it, but it's breaking almost like a sixth wall because it's a movie within a movie with characters who work in the entertainment industry. Like each one of them have their own version of working in the film industry, whether it's the actor, the sound guy, and the other guy who's like, he's making film, it's for digital, but he's still making film to a certain degree. And they all still have that passion and love for the movies that they had when they were kids and they used to watch.
The nostalgia.
Yeah, their version of like a Schwarzenegger or a Stallone and all that.
Jean-Claude Van Damme type.
Yeah, I think, but then it goes like way left field, but it is. I think it's funny because it's very, it's almost like a parody of the film industry and the entertainment industry, because they have like the producers are their own character and the world is its own character. The director is like a crybaby, and then the actor is very much like a. Whatever you call it, like an actor who's
like a prima donna.
Prima donna past his prime, but still won't stop doing drugs.
Well, I guess not a prima donna, post Madonna.
Very much.
If that's a thing, I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess it is.
I liked it. It's weird because I think a part of me in the first few minutes was like, I don't don't know if I'm gonna like this, but I'm like, I'm in it now. I'm not gonna change it last minute for you because I probably started watching it like at whatever time.
Probably would have hurt you if you did. Like,
No, I didn't know.
10 o'clock at night. You know what? Let's go ahead and change it out. But like,
oh, it would have been like midnight. See, that's the thing. I would. Nah, my brain. Well, that's why. I think it's. I'm glad you sent me the list of things that had already been talked about because I had seen my friend Matt Rife on the profile, and I'm like, oh, that's an easy watch. And my buddy Denzel Whitaker's in that movie. I know him personally too, so I was like, oh, I'll watch this because I was like, I haven't really seen Matt act. Let me watch this goofball do his thing. Shout out to him. He's gonna be him in that Owen Wilson movie, Rolling Stone. It's like the beginning of Rolling Loud. They're in a new movie or something together. But shout out to Matt Rife. Listen, he's a millionaire. I'm happy for him.
He's doing his thing.
He owes me a few mil. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I was gonna say I did see that and I was like, oh, that looks easy. Let me watch
the private eye.
But then you had mentioned it and I was like, oh, okay, never mind. Let me. And I think I'm very visual. I just saw the thumbnail for Action and was like, sure.
It was like
just as
thumbnail
action.
of Action, and the movie is just called Action.
Just called Action.
And you can take that in multiple different ways.
Yeah, I was
like action as far as like an action hero, or action as far as like action. Like, let's start making this film. So I do like those types of movies too, where you get a little bit of a movie inside of a movie, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Even from some shows that do it, like Apple had this series where the girl she's a scientist, but then she's like a chemist, but then lessons in chemistry, where she was like she was actual like a host of a cooking show, and kind of shows you a little bit about like just the entertainment world behind the curtain.
Yeah, there was a show with what's her name, Rachel something, who created Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. What do y'all know that girl?
With that
I know Rachel. Is it Bloom? Rachel Bloom, she made a show that was really good, and it was literally, the show was like The Office but on a movie set lot or a TV set lot. And it was like, I don't know if it was like The Office with like the look in the camera type stuff. Yeah. I don't think it was a mockumentary, but it was just very much a behind the scenes of this is how the film industry is, and someone's running to grab coffee and this, that, and the third. And the stars were like the PAs and like the lighting and the grip. And I think there's another show coming out soon, if not a movie, with Seth Rogen called The Studio.
Yes.
I keep seeing posters about it, and my brain is just looking at it. Apple TV. Yeah. And my brain is just looking at the Seth Rogen one, just like, this dude just gets to make cool shit. Lucky bastard. I've met him. He's a nice guy. I met him through my buddy O'Shea Jackson Jr., who they did like a Netflix as a joke festival, and they did a table read of the Friday script. It was so random. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'll go watch that. And it was funny. They had
very random.
It was like Netflix as a jokes festival's first year. Yeah. I think it was 2022. And it was funny because obviously I have a relationship because my dad was in the movie. But it's funny because they had a bunch of random people playing or just reading the script. Seth Rogen, I think, was like the director reading the like narrator. O'Shea played his dad, so which was like one for one. Like it was like, oh, let's make a prequel because he just sounds exactly and looks like him. And he was like, yeah, man, I smoky, right? He's doing all that. Oh my gosh. George Wallace was playing my dad, which was funny.
I need to see this.
There's no video because it was they did it at the Orpheum Theater. It was very much like, because the Netflix is a Joke Festival is just a festival of comedy.
Yep.
So they're just doing random shows and they're doing random things, and Netflix is just trying to build up the concept of Netflix is we've got a comedy division. Yeah. You know, trying to like.
I'm sure they wish that they had recorded that.
I think. Well, you know, it's funny. That is interesting because I think following or no. Well, I think they recorded all the stand-up stuff. All the stand-up stuff gets recorded. And all the kind of like just comedy-esque like sidebar stuff is like just a moment. And and it's funny because I remember I was watching George Wallace, or a buddy of mine was he was reading for it, and he said, "Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you in here doing your dad?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't get his jobs. That's not how it works. Also, I'm not as famous as him. Maybe people just don't know who the hell I am. That's part of it.
You also kind of want to be your own person. Like if you do stuff that's so.
I stopped doing that. I stopped doing that at 4 years old. I've been hearing that since I was. No. I don't mind paying homage to him because obviously I can do. I feel like I can do one for one sound of him if I actually tune it in with my ear.
Impersonation of him is.
Well, it's just one of the things where I'm not impersonating. I don't know how to tell stories without taking you to the moment I heard. That's my thing. Like I have friends who can do his character. Like to me, it's more of it's an impression. I don't know how to impersonate. I don't know how to look like him and jig and dance. I don't really get that deep into
Doing the nonverbal stuff is also is very difficult, very different from doing the verbal.
That's I explained that on one of my podcast episodes because my friend was talking about impressions, and I was like, well, to me, I was like, impressions are voice one-for-ones.
Yeah.
Impersonations are character one-for-ones, where you can do the voice, but you're not selling the voice. You're selling the whole character. Like SNL is like, to me, that's more impersonation. Outside of like someone like a Jay Farrow who's hitting it perfectly because he's very talented at that. Or whoever else is in that realm who can do it. But yeah, I don't know. But it was just funny watching George Wallace with the timing because obviously he's seen the film probably because him and my dad are close in age. But it's one of them things where it's like you don't really watch a lot of your contemporary stuff. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. Maybe you're invited to the premiere. But like in comparison to the crowd who like this is a cult following who's seen the movie, they were reading out his lines almost to the verbatim and T of the timing and all that stuff. Because, it's like these are like my dad has a very quotable career. His career is very full of quotations and I got to give it to him. He's like the I don't know what the word is, catchphrase king in the sense that all the things he said in these movies, he owned it. So it was one of them things where it's like, oh, I'm going to take it and go put it on a shirt because it's not like you wrote this silly shit down. I said it randomly when we were in the takes. So yeah, but it was a very random, funny moment to see George Wallace because he was like, the 35, 45 minutes in the bathroom, he was like saying it at his pacing, and everybody in the crowd is like, oh yeah, yeah. But it's like the guy who you want to be up there is dead, so it's like you guys aren't going to get exactly what you want. I was like, if they did hire me, I would have done it because I know how that movie goes. Yeah. Like I know the beats of the movie.
Yeah,
you
lived it. And
yeah. I the first Friday I was like 6. I was nowhere near that set. It was. It's always my dad would say when he was interviewed like I have a kid at home, but I was like 5 or something. Like I don't think I saw that movie till I was old enough to understand it, probably in like 2000. So it's like I watched a movie that people love from a young age. I'm like, oh yeah, I saw it like when I was 10. Yeah. When they were like halfway done with the second one. Like I don't know.
You're kind of old enough to watch it and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of catchphrases, one of the catchphrases in action, which it was really funny, was "Baby, it's action time."
That was so. It was so
over the top.
It was very silly.
Yeah.
It was so over the top. The guy who played what was the name? Johnny, what's his name? The main well, he reminded me of the dude from Cobra Kai.
Yes.
He looks like that guy.
Yes.
I don't know.
Cove.
Yeah.
No, Martin Cove?
I don't know.
But I should 100%.
Know. Shout out to Cobra Kai. 6 seasons in a movie. I don't know.
He did look a lot like him.
He reminded me of him. Yeah.
But it also brings up like the fact of, people, and we talked about this in episode 2, was episode 3 with Lilia, was that people grow up with different films.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like think about that. Like obviously it's made up, but it's still interesting to see like they were stuck on this like made up character that, Turbo Cop, but they were stuck on this and they grew up idolizing that Turbo Cop.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like over here, if someone watched Turbo Cop, it'd probably been like, oh, whatever, it's just another movie, right?
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see how the world appreciates film in different ways and how that impacts them. And sometimes films that we don't even ever get to see here that are released in different parts of the world. And then, we're trying to do that with Momi too, is that's why we bring on international films.
Mm-hmm.
So as we want to take films that have, that were made in different parts of the world and have different types of uniqueness and stories, and the directors do things totally different than directors here, and just expose our users to different content.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun that you chose this one. I'm really enjoying it, or really enjoyed it. One of the things I also noted was the language barrier.
Right.
So you mentioned that earlier, but I think they did a good job of switching back and forth between the different languages, obviously English and the Bulgarian. But it was nice to kind of have that mix. So you didn't always have to pay attention to the subtitles at all times, which was kind of nice. And even then it almost became like the nonverbals. Like you'd almost didn't even if it was in a different language, you didn't even need to watch because of how they shot that. I thought that was a unique choice by them.
Yeah, I think it was just enough of them going, well, I mean, it was actually unique because from that perspective, there was plenty of going into English, going into Bulgarian, going into a different language.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there was any other language. I don't think so. Maybe.
I think there might have been
I don't know if the lady and her son were talking in Japanese or something.
No, they weren't talking in Japanese.
No, but either way, it's just one.
Well, they said some Japanese words. It was completely racially offensive, and I was just. Like,
I think that was even,
this is a movie that looks like it was shot in the 90s. Like there was no filter whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I think that one of the funniest parts was at the end of the movie where the three dudes bum rush the director. The dude comes in and he says Honda, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But also, racism's not as prevalent as it is here in America. Like in other countries, they're like, yeah, we're still racist. That's like not not in a rude way. More
racism
like that.
still exists in Europe. Like it's a thing that they battle with, but it's on a different level where like here we're further progressive and more like, I'm not going to say soft, but like the comedy levels are different, right? So the stuff that was said in the 90s, then the 2000s to today, it's like it's a little different. You have to have a little bit of a filter somewhat. And I think almost some people are now getting to the point where like, okay, I understand social media is here and I understand this is going to go viral. Yeah. I'm still going to say it now because you can't cancel me or something, right? Like it's almost like you can't cancel me because I don't care about the cancel culture almost. Yeah.
Well, you're not canceling me. I'm in Bulgaria.
But you can tell they didn't care about that in this film.
No.
Like they wrote it how they wanted to write it. Yeah. Did the Honda like
that was just funny.
Wow.
But that's my thing. That to me, I'm like, you can something like that. Well, obviously maybe it's not for me to be offended by, but I'm just like, it's silly. It's silly. It's one of those things where it's less like I'm being racially offensive and I'm ignorant. It's more, this is blind ignorance. Apologies if this is not something you want to hear. I just thought it was something that everyone does, but no. Yeah, so no, but
it was very light though.
It wasn't heavy.
Yeah,
no.
You could tell it's like almost when someone says something and they smirk. But you're like, all right, yeah, you don't really mean that. You're just trying to be funny.
No, I think it was definitely playful. I don't think any of it was meant in any poor taste. And I didn't there was nothing in there that I felt was off-putting personally.
No, not at all.
I was enjoying it. I was like, there was a lot of different backgrounds which I enjoyed. Like I don't know if those guys were from Sudan. I don't know if that was a Sudanese flag that I saw. Those black dudes getting out of
Yeah. They were bringing the diamonons.
Something. Yeah. They brought the diamonds and
that was the whole like the blood diamond. Like they're like, oh, it's authentic. Like
it was crazy.
And you had the guy, the almost rabbi looking dude, like he did have, he was like I don't know what to call it, but it's either way he had the braids down his eyes.
Acidic, I guess.
Acidic, yeah.
Acidic
so
Jewish.
And he's there, and it's like, why does he have to be Jewish? Like the one that's doing the jewelry.
Because they wrote
it that way. And of course then you have like one of the producers was wearing a yarmulke. And
one was like British. And I thought the dynamic of that film, even though like I'm not gonna lie, a part of me was like an accidental pull. I just kind of grabbed it and was like, I'll watch it.
It's on Momi2, and I haven't seen it yet.
There we go.
Like I hadn't even seen the trailer yet.
Yeah, so listen.
I don't choose all the content that's on our platform. We have a team for that, but it's like like it was just crazy. So thank you for picking it. Yeah. The only critique, and I like to talk about critiques only in a way that's not going to be offensive, because I think that with independent film or even international film where they don't have the budget and they're just really trying to get eyeballs in their film, I don't like to say negative things about films. I try not to.
Yeah.
At least in a way that's going to be demeaning, right? You can tell certain things when you're like, okay, you didn't have enough budget for this or whatever. Like that's just all reality.
Sure.
The one thing that I wish they could have done was kind of speed up the film. I feel like the pacing was a little slow.
It was longer than it needed to be.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know. I'm not a superstar film director, but a part of me was just like, we could like trim that, cut this part. I think there were some scenes where I was just like, why is this character doing this? And I think for them it was just like to establish that he's a fuck up. That's just it. We're just establishing that he would make a bad decision when all you have to do is do a very simple thing, and you can get the same kind of like outcome from both. But it's just like, nah, we're gonna add this in just because because
like they had the scene of him like making the fake tickets, right? Like it's like, okay, he's like overlaying the barcode and all this stuff and making sure it looks legit and all this stuff. It's like, you could have cut that out and literally could have been like as he gets out of the car, be like, all right, I got to go sell these fake tickets. And like, and have the guy be like, what? And then he goes and does his thing. It could have cut out like 2 minutes. Yeah. So there was little moments like, okay, you can cut 2 minutes here, a little bit here, a little bit here. And could have been a little quicker, but that's the only like critique I would have, honestly, with what they shot.
I mean, even that critique is me saying to myself, you know what? They probably just said, hey, man, we're making a movie. We're going to make it how we want it, because who knows if we ever get to make another one.
100%.
So I think that's what I kind of took from that, because I was like, all right, some of these scenes feel just like a personal choice. Like you just want to have this because you want to say that you got that idea out on on paper and then on film, and now it's there, and it's like, we got the shot. I wanted that shot. It's in the movie. Yeah. Great.
Would you tell someone to go watch that?
I think it depends. I got a lot of American friends who are just a little too lazy, I think, to do the whole reading the what's it called, unless they're fans of anime. Like that's because that's like, what's that movie that won all the Oscars that one year, and it was from South Korea? I forget. Parasite. Yeah, great fucking movie. And the dude said, if you could just look above that little bar, you could see so many different films. And it's like, people in America, obviously, because we're stupid and we refuse to look at anything that's not just American. But obviously not to compare that movie to this one, but I would recommend this one. I'd be like, hey bro, go get high, go watch this movie.
Yeah, just go watch it. Like, don't even premise it. Like, just go watch this. It's a silly action comedy. Yeah, go watch it.
Yeah,
and don't even tell them it's in subtitles. Like, don't. Like,
listen, they didn't tell me.
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't tell you.
I clicked the watch trailer and I saw action, guns, ninjas, and my brain was like, oh, this will be easy to remember, because I wanted to be able to have a conversation about it, because I was like, if it's really convoluted, I might miss some parts. Yeah. Depending on how much time I have to sit back and actually watch the film. Yeah. So I would just be like, go watch it. It's silly. Yeah. It's fun.
It's one of the things that we're trying to do with Mommy 2 is, like, again, expose people to content that they never knew existed, they never knew they loved, like never knew that they would have given a chance to. Like, if you knew this film was in, like, 75% of it was in Bulgarian, you probably wouldn't have chose it.
No, well, yeah, and I think, for me, just because it would have been easier for me to hear it in case of my scheduling, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to, like, keep looking at the screen because I can hear. Not that I don't. Obviously, you shouldn't do that. Period. You should see a movie and see it all through its entirety. But I think with the time crunch we were working on to get together, I think I was like, all right. And then I got into it, and I'm like, subtitles, and I was like, you chose it. Go for it. And I think I wanted to watch it even more then, because I was like, oh, this is a very obscure movie that I wouldn't randomly have chosen. I chose it because it said all this stuff is in the movie, and if it's still in there, I don't know why the language barrier would matter. Yeah, because the point, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a point where ninjas are in it, and I'm like, wait, what's happening? Why are there ninjas? And the ninjas were badass. I was like, this is pretty cool.
They actually did a good job. Yeah. So thank you for choosing this. It shows kind of a point of why we are doing Mommy 2. Like, one of the reasons. It's not the only reason, but one of the reasons we're doing it is just to, again, expose people to just random different content and say, the world is making movies. Yeah. Like, go watch them. It doesn't have to be just the top billed, Oscar winner. Like, go watch stuff that's just completely out of the ordinary and completely obscure. You might love it.
Yeah, and just keep watching movies for as long as possible, because if you don't, we might not have them anymore.
It's true. Very true.
Movies might be, we might have big ass vertical screens that just run TikToks all day, and it's like, oh man, this is boring. I don't know. I hope, obviously, the entertainment industry has to make money. They're not going to allow that to happen. But I think we were getting close in 2020. I feel like we were getting real close to, like, why do we need movie theaters? Yeah. Put it on streaming day one. Which that way studios are like, now we don't have to pay anybody because it's streaming. It's not you're not getting residuals for it to be in the theater. Put that shit on streaming, nobody gets money except for us. I don't know. And that movie is like a good breakdown. It's a good breakdown of that, because there is, like, the conversation of money and where's my advance and how much do we have to fund?
We need more money for the big volcano scene. Here's your little volcano.
Yeah, even that, which was crazy, because they were getting, I'm not trying to spoil it, but they were getting money from the person. It's like, why aren't we putting the dollars behind it? I was like, where are y'all taking that money?
Yeah. And that could be a whole nother podcast episode for us to do,
so
which
strange.
I'm so down to do. But thank you for choosing that film. Overall, and I ask every guest this at the end, would you recommend Mommy 2 to someone else?
Definitely. I think I would. Because I think Mommy 2 was something I didn't know existed, and it reminds me, kind of, not to compare, but it reminded me of, like, Crackle. I think Crackle was a thing that I've seen. I've auditioned for Crackle before in the past to host certain things, and then I like that Mommy 2 has its own, like, section where it's like a person giving you a breakdown of movies. I thought that was cool. That's very, like, YouTube-esque, and YouTube is, the front runner in the sense of just digital video websites, And also, I was like, okay, it's kind of like international Tubi, but they actually care about their films. No disrespect to Tubi.
We love Tubi.
I love Tubi, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying there are some films on Tubi that I'm just like, okay, all right. Just because like maybe they put something together and the budget on some of it didn't make sense. But I do like Tubi too. I think all of them are great from the perspective of put the control of what you want to do in your hands, because there's all these hurdles to get through in the traditional entertainment industry. There's hurdles to get through when it comes to digital and the algorithm. There's things that are blocking you. But if you just want to be a creative artist and put your art out there, then it's like you have these platforms that allow it. So I think that's great.
Well, something that's interesting, you bring this up, it's just a little point about Momi too I could share with you, because you've only spent a little bit of time on there, but we don't use algorithms.
Yeah, you shouldn't. That's awesome. I love that.
We don't. We hand curate all of our content. So everything you see is all done by our team. Some stuff is automated as far as like it moves around every day, but like,
Sure.
our as far as our rails go, as far as like all the categories we choose, we just recently updated our platform. So it looks like when you click on movies, it's just genres. We changed niches to vibes. So kind of changing the vibe of what you're kind of into. So a little deeper than genres. And then a whole section of just world content. So it's stuff just all around the world, and you can kind of get into random stuff. But we want to do it in a way, again, to expose you to content. So if you go to the homepage, it looks the same as it does for you, as it does for me, as it does for our producers, like for our listeners. It doesn't change based on just what you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
There is a recommendation piece that comes in at the end, but you have to watch the whole film to get to that point. I mean, you literally get exposed to content you're more than likely an algorithm would have never presented to you.
That's what I like. I like keep things human. I guess, yeah.
JD, absolutely appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. I'm a big fan, and I'm going to continue to watch JD Radio.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, I got to go yap about how Jonathan Major's career got pulled back twice. Let's go. What else is happening in the world right now? I don't know. Yeah, silly stuff. I want to make it a little more personal, because having conversations about just like random topics, like, they kind of go in and die out. So a part of me will make it a little bit more personal in the future, but I appreciate you listening and watching either way, because I have takes that I don't think are too hot, but you never know whose feathers you might ruffle just by being human and having an opinion.
Absolutely.
But that's what these mics are for, and they should be worth more so that you avoid all the red pill content you've been accidentally sharing with your kids. Your son, he's in trouble. He's an incel now. We got to save him. I'm just kidding.
Well, dude, I really appreciate it, and we'll have you back on again.
Yeah, let's do it. This is fun. Yeah, I'll pick another random movie at random and be like, oh, we're in Switzerland now. Let's,
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for spending your time with us today on the More For Me and You podcast. If you've made it to the end, we appreciate you. Now, go do us a quick favor. Please like, comment, and share this episode. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode with the incredible guests we have coming up. You can also follow us at Momi2 Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. Oh, and for your next movie night, check out the Momi2 app. It's free and packed with amazing movies and shows you've probably never seen. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you in the pod.